Yeah.
Ever imagine yourself not just, working in a bustling kitchen or a lively restaurant, but like actually shaping the future of
Oh,
hospitality?
absolutely.
That's really what being a hospitality vocational teacher is all about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we're diving deep into today, with some help from RoleCatcher's guide.
You got it. You got it. It's about, taking that passion that you have for hospitality and passing that torch to the next generation.
Mhm.
But as you know, it's not as simple as just, loving food or being able to make a really good cocktail.
Right, right. There's more to it. So let's break this down a little bit. So we've got this career guide from RoleCatcher,
Right.
right? And it's telling us that hospitality vocational teachers wear a lot of hats, right? You're a
Sure.
mentor, you're a guy, you're like a real world connection to the industry for these students. But how does that actually like play out day to day?
Well, it's a balance, right?
Yeah.
It's a real dynamic balance. I mean, one minute you might be demonstrating, knife skills in a kitchen lab, and the next you're breaking down different customer service scenarios in a classroom. Um, you need that practical experience to draw on, but then you also need to translate that into, engaging lessons, things that are going to resonate with your students.
So it's not enough to just know the hospitality industry. You've got to know how to teach it, be passionate about sharing that knowledge with students, right?
Yes.
With someone who's just starting out.
Hold.
And that makes me think about the type of person who, thrives in this role.
Absolutely, and this is not like, a behind the desk kind of job. The guide specifically mentions the fast-paced, demanding nature of the work, especially in those hands-on training environments.
Right.
So you need to be adaptable, be able to think on your feet, and honestly, you probably need to have a little bit of a thick skin too, because not every lesson is going to go perfectly.
That's so true. And I think anyone who's ever worked in a kitchen, for example, knows that things can go sideways fast.
Oh yeah,
But even with those challenges, the guide also emphasizes how rewarding this career path can be.
yeah.
I'm guessing that goes beyond just like seeing your students master a recipe or a service technique.
Oh, for sure. It runs much deeper than that.
Yeah.
Think about it. You're shaping careers. You're not just teaching skills. You're helping students kind of discover their passion for hospitality, whether that's in the kitchen or, the front of the house,
Yeah.
or even event planning.
Right. You're opening doors for them that they might not have even known existed.
Exactly.
Exactly. And that's got to feel good.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the real magic happens, I think, when you see that spark ignite in a student and realize that, you know what, you helped make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, to get there, you need a specific set of skills.
Right.
And RoleCatcher seems to highlight some interesting ones, beyond just the technical know-how.
Yeah.
They're placing a lot of emphasis on active listening and instructing, giving them like a 59% importance rating. What's the significance of that?
Well, it shows just how important communication is in this role.
Yeah.
You can have all the culinary knowledge in the world, but if you can't effectively listen to your students' needs, and then tailor how you're teaching based on those needs, you're not going to be successful. It's all about rapport.
Yeah.
Creating that space where they feel safe to ask questions and just understanding that everyone learns a little differently.
Right. It's that classic saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
That's right.
And it sounds like, building that trust and that connection with your students is really crucial, especially as a hospitality vocational teacher.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not even just about the student-teacher dynamic, right?
Yeah.
You also need to be a good communicator with your colleagues, the administrators, even industry partners.
Right. So it's bigger.
It's much bigger.
Yeah.
And then the guide also highlights the importance of education and training at a whopping 86%, along with customer and personal service at 75%.
Yeah.
It's about really understanding, how people learn best, the art of teaching itself, but then also being really well-versed in customer interactions in hospitality.
So it's not just about knowing how to, I don't know, cook a perfect steak,
Right.
but how to teach someone else to do it while providing, really excellent customer service at the same time.
Exactly.
That's fascinating how this career blends those two worlds so seamlessly.
It really does. And that blend is what makes it, so unique and rewarding. But let's not forget, building a career in this field also involves, understanding the different career stages, right?
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher actually lays out a pretty clear progression path for for new teachers.
So you're telling me there's a roadmap for going from, say, a newbie teacher to running the whole show.
Yeah.
I bet that's reassuring for anyone who's feeling a little, overwhelmed by all of this. Tell me more.
Sure. Absolutely, yeah. RoleCatcher outlines a path that starts with you assisting more experienced teachers,
Okay.
sort of like an apprenticeship,
Yeah.
where you're learning the ropes, getting comfortable in that classroom environment, and just gradually taking on more responsibility.
So you're not like thrown to the deep end on day one. There's room to like find your footing and develop your own teaching style
Yeah.
with guidance from folks who've been there.
With guidance, yeah, exactly. And then as you progress to what RoleCatcher calls a junior hospitality vocational teacher, you start designing your own lesson plans, you're instructing independently, and even mentoring newer teachers yourself.
Okay.
So it's a natural progression.
So you start by learning from the best, then you step up and share that knowledge with the next wave of educators.
That's it.
That's cool. That's a cool cycle to be a part of.
Yeah.
But what about those who, are looking to really take charge, like shape the educational experience for a whole program? What does that look like?
Right. So that's where the senior hospitality vocational teacher role comes in.
Okay.
And you're not just leading a classroom at that point. You're leading teams of teachers. You're designing curriculum for whole programs, even forging partnerships with, restaurants, hotels, other industry players to create internship and job placement opportunities for your students.
Wow. So it really becomes about connecting the dots between education and the real world.
Yes.
Building those bridges that can actually help launch careers.
Exactly.
That's a whole other level of impact.
It is. And to really excel in this field, regardless of what stage of your career you're in, RoleCatcher really emphasizes the importance of lifelong learning.
Okay.
They specifically mention certifications like the Certified Hospitality Educator, the CHE,
Okay.
which dives deep into, teaching methodologies specifically for hospitality.
So it's about constantly like kind of honing your craft, staying ahead of the curve in terms of industry trends and best practices for teaching.
Exactly. Another certification they highlight is the Serve Safe Food Protection Manager certification, which shows, your commitment to food safety standards, which is a must in any culinary setting, obviously.
Yeah.
But these certifications really tell employers that you're serious about your development, that you're dedicated to giving your students the most up-to-date knowledge and skills.
Right. It's like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Right.
By investing in your own growth, you're also elevating the learning experience for your students, which ultimately benefits the whole industry, right? Speaking of advantages, we've talked about, the insights that RoleCatcher provides about the career itself, but let's get into how their platform can actually give you a leg up in your job search.
Okay.
They've got some pretty innovative features. What really stood out to you?
Well, what I think is so fascinating is how they've combined this really deep knowledge of the field with cutting-edge technology.
Okay.
So, for example, they have this huge database of over 120,000 interview questions.
Wow.
And they're all tailored to specific roles, including hospitality vocational teacher.
Wait, so you're telling me I can walk into an interview having already practiced answers to hundreds, if not thousands, of relevant questions?
That's right.
That's next level preparation.
It is.
I can see how that would be a game changer, especially for first-time job seekers or even career changers who, might be a little rusty with the interview process.
Yeah, it's like having a cheat sheet, but it's totally legit.
Right. Exactly.
And it gets even more impressive.
Okay.
RoleCatcher actually uses AI to analyze job descriptions and then score your CV based on how well it matches up.
Oh, wow.
So it takes out all the guesswork of, how to tailor your application and helps you put your best foot forward.
That's incredible. It's like having a personal brand strategist on your side who speaks fluent recruiter.
Exactly.
That's awesome. But, even with all the best tools and resources, this career path really does still boil down to that human element.
Right.
We touched on the importance of, active listening and instructing, but RoleCatcher also lists some other essential soft skills like social perceptiveness and persuasion.
Yeah.
That's the thinking there. Those are interesting ones for sure. It's easy to get, caught up in the lesson plans and the certifications and all that, but at its core, this is about connecting with people, right?
Right.
So how does social perceptiveness play into the life of a hospitality vocational teacher?
Well, I think it's It's about being really tuned in to those unspoken cues in your classroom.
Okay.
Remembering that you're not just teaching a subject, you're working with all these individuals, and they all come with, their own learning style, their own motivations, maybe even, anxieties about pursuing this career.
Right, right. It's a fast-paced
Yeah,
industry.
exactly.
It can be intimidating.
Yeah. So being able to read the room, pick up on those subtle signs that, maybe a student's struggling or they're just not engaged or hey, maybe they're about to have like a breakthrough moment.
Yeah, it's like you need a sixth sense almost or something.
Yeah, in a way you do. And that really ties into, the persuasion aspect too.
Okay.
Because it's not enough to just, deliver the information, right?
Yeah.
Especially in a field that's as hands-on and honestly demanding as hospitality can be.
Yeah.
You need to be able to kind of sell your students on why this is so exciting.
Right.
On the possibilities that open up when they really master these skills.
So you're not just a teacher, you're kind of like a coach and a cheerleader and maybe even a salesperson sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
You're convincing them that this is a path worth pursuing even when it gets tough, which, it inevitably will.
Right. And you're helping them, connect the dots between what they're learning in the classroom to what they could actually achieve,
Yeah.
in their careers.
Yeah, you're shaping their vision for the future.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
That's powerful. Do you
Yeah.
think that a hospitality vocational teacher has that kind of influence? It's not just about the recipes or the techniques. It's about shaping the next generation of chefs and hoteliers and event planners, the
Yeah.
people who, bring joy and create memorable experiences.
That's right.
For other people, I mean, what a rewarding way to make a living,
It really is. It really is. And this deep dive, hopefully, it's given you a taste of what this career path is all about.
Yeah.
The challenges, the skills that you need, but most importantly, that impact that you can have on your students, on the industry.
It's huge.
It is.
Yeah, and remember, tools like RoleCatcher are out there to support you every step of the way, right?
Yeah.
From, mastering those interview questions to connecting with potential employers.
Absolutely.
It's really about, taking that passion for hospitality and turning it into this truly fulfilling career. That really does have the power to shape the future of this industry, which is amazing. So if you're out there and you're ready to inspire that next generation of hospitality professionals, explore those resources. Start building your dream career.
Yeah. Take that first step.
Because, the most rewarding journeys often
Mhm.
do start with a single step.